Welcome, everyone, to a special edition of AIME Live. I'm Mark Summers. I'm the president of AIME. I just want to welcome everyone who's joining us today or either watching later. I'm really excited about this session that we're about to do here, just because it's something that I truly think is important. If you listen to anything myself or even the entire association has been talking about all through 2020 leading into 2021, is talking about scaling and growing your business. And my guest today, I mean, arguably couldn't be a better person to discuss this topic. I'm going to give a great brief introduction here. She has 30 plus years in the mortgage industry, was a former executive vice president of a $4 billion mortgage company. She started this great company who AIME has had a great partnership with 19 years ago called Zinix. And it was basically built to, help the industry. Sometimes we need help, and we definitely accepted it with who I'm about to introduce here, Casey Cunningham, the CEO of Zinix. Welcome, Casey.
Hey, Mark. It's great to see you, and thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, and I think, as I said before, I think you're going to be the perfect person to talk about scaling and growing your business. Obviously, that's what your company's doing. They're helping the industry, arguably one of the best companies helping the industry. So I'm really excited to hop right into it. And, I'm telling you, and everyone who's listening, if you were so busy with your 2020 production and you came into 2021 and you didn't really start scaling or growing your business, there's still time. Casey's going to go over this. So Casey, let's hop right into it if you don't mind. Okay.
Sure.
So if one of the biggest questions I get, and I think you'll probably receive this question as well, is, when you start talking about scaling and building a business and you want more volume, where do you start? Do you start at sales or do you start at support?
Well, the reality is you'll never retain great salespeople if you don't have great support. So I think everyone always asks, where do you start, the chicken or the egg? And my preference is get your service platform completely buttoned up while you're looking and recruiting for great talent. But if you don't have your service platform ready, you won't be able to retain the talent that you're going to go out and recruit. So I'd have it documented. I'd have it thoroughly process driven, to where when you bring in a good and a great new loan officer or a new recruit, depending on whether you hire experienced guys or you want to build new ones, your service, if you want to retain people and you want the highest performance from people, your service has got to be outstanding.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, and that's what, us brokers, we always feel we're the best at is our service. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's the differentiator right now in this digital world. Your service is the reason people will come back to you. And the reality is you don't have to work that hard if you can retain every client you've ever done business with. And what we tend to do is forget that the gold is in our own backyard. Every client is the potential for exponential more clients if you are exceptional in your service. And it has to start with you, and it has to, of course, continue with your team. So I'd absolutely really have everybody, even right now, whether you've decided to add new talent or not, is to really look at their service platform and go, am I the very, very best in the market?
Okay, fair enough. All right, so let's talk about sales and like sales recruiting and whatnot. Okay. Listen, we all know that everyone cannot be in sales. I mean, some people, right? It's just not them. What traits are you looking for and what advice could you give to our community about, hey, these are the traits you need to look for in recruiting someone for sales?
Certainly. So a couple of things, data points for everybody. So I have experience of recruiting. I'm going to take you back a little bit. When we first started building new talent in my previous organization prior to Zinix, there was a learning process. The learning process is what works, what doesn't. And we found some amazing things that you can do to help weed out the talent. Now, I have some assessments that I like. One I've been using for, almost 25 years. It's really a great predictor of someone's outcome. It's not 100%. No assessment is.
Right.
But here's some traits that we found. So, Mark, we interviewed 50 of our best rookies we ever put in the market and found what traits they had.
Interesting.
And so unbelievable when we went, okay, everybody, you're going to love the first one because you'll all agree, because if you're a top guy listening in or gal, number one is impatient. So if you think about that recruit that keeps pushing and pushing, the impatience piece is an attribute you really want to look for. We also found that those who played team sports were highly successful because they're competitive. So you want to look for people with that have some team sports background. Another thing that you want to look for from an attribute, and this sounds a little crazy, but I think most people would agree, is do they have any kind of financial stability right now? Because if they're in a desperate situation and they don't actually have anything to fall back on, they're not going to sustain the business. They just won't stay in it. So we would ask recruits very candidly on the front end, what kind of family support do you have? And how long can you go financially before this business starts really paying you back exponentially? And if they said, oh, I have to go right now, you say, okay, well, let's talk about, is that realistic? We also found, really important, one of the attributes you want to know is how much money do you need to make? We found that those who said a lower number were not as successful, period, end of story, because they weren't as aggressive about having to make it. That we really wanted people that were that had some ambition. So I was always looking for somebody who says, if I don't make six figures, this is not the industry for me. So that's the guy I want. The guy who goes, yeah, I get 35, 40,000. I'm like, you're never going to be motivated. You're living in your parents' basement. You know, we need somebody who needs to actually support themselves. We found that college kids who were married, and I know y'all can't ask these direct questions, but we did find that there was a correlation that married college kids were highly successful. For some reason, they're right out of college, just getting married, more mature, a little more established. But my attributes immediately is drive. That's your number one that you want to look for. Do I have a candidate that is highly driven? And I can do several things by the assessment's one of them that'll tell me if they're driven, because I found an assessment. I was reading a book, Mark, and at the back of the book, after reading the book, and I'll recommend it for anybody who wants to read it, it's called Never Hire a Bad Salesperson Again. Love the name of the book, right?
Easy enough.
Right? So I read the book, and this PhD who wrote the book, of course, has an assessment now. And I reached out to him and said, listen, I'm in the mortgage space. I'd like to test your assessment against some really top producers and low producers. I want to see if it has any kind of predictability to it. And it certainly did. And the part that I love, and I have two assessments, but this one is really easy to read. And it basically says scale of 1 to 5, 5 being I got a highly driven, get out of their way professional, and a 1 is I got a slouch on the couch, don't hire them. So it gives you that scale, because I want to know if you have drive, I can teach you the industry all day long. By the way, you won't find many 5s, very few. You want to look for the 4s and 5s. If you get a 3, I'd still consider them. 1s and 2s, I'd consider it. Maybe they're on my team to help build relationships, but they're not my hunter who's going to go out and build their own business.
Right.
So, but drive is my number 1. Impatience, number 2. 3 is they have some ambition, specifically an income level that they have to get to. So then I know that they're going to get in the market and be serious about it.
Well, I like that, because I mean, I can see why some people, especially in this market right now, we're all super busy. Impatience may be a turnoff to some people, you know what I mean? But it's actually a huge trait to have. Mm-hmm. I love that.
One of the things that everybody never discount their ability to communicate, especially in this world, whether it's on camera or if you just close your eyes while you're talking to the recruit, if they are on camera, and go, do they sound engaging? Do they have the ability to connect with other human beings? But verbal communication skills in this market, in this world, the digital world, cannot be overemphasized. So by the way, hiring process is, if I don't want to hang out with you,
right?
I don't want to hire you,
right?
Because I'm going to spend a lifetime with you, in a sense, right? I spend more time with my people than I even do my own family, and I really want to like who you are. I want to be able to go to dinner with you and go, this is a guy that I would engage, or gal, because at that point, so will the customers, because they're going to really sing your brand and they're going to take your culture and be an extension of you. So I really look verbal communication skills. So all these 50 rookies, by the way, I'm not going to read all of them to you, but low patience factor was a big one. Financial resources was another. Team player, I said that. Excellent verbal communication skills. They had the ability to connect, and that is how I, by the way, ask certain questions. So when I interview, I have certain questions that I know whether or not they can connect. And so I tell everybody, as you're deciding to hire new people, we have the ability, we can help you at Zenix, give you, here's all the questions you should ask a rookie, because the questions will drive whether or not you're going to have an outcome. that you'd be happy with.
Interesting. Well, okay. So you're bringing up rookies and veteran and stuff like this, and that's another question I get big time. For my business right now, I'm personally building it, just dealing with everything I am right now, with everything I'm dealing with. I'm kind of looking for that more experienced person. Some people are looking for the rookies that they're willing to groom. Mm-hmm. Tell me, I mean, do you lean a certain way? What's the difference in training? Where do you start with that?
Okay, so if I prefer rookies. They don't come with any baggage. They're going to do it the way you want them to do it. The reason people, and I'm going to say people, our industry has shied away from rookies is because of the unpredictability of it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to invest my time in this person and they may not make it. And how do I know if they'll be productive? Well, let me tell you, this is the easy part. You get somebody who's driven and you're like, I really think they'd be amazing, but I, as a broker, don't have the physical time to train them or to pour into them, especially in this market. How do I help them get in the industry? And if you take everything and you narrow it down to 3, I got to teach them the knowledge. Mm-hmm. I got to teach them the skills. I got to teach them the disciplines. You don't have to do it. You have a partnership with Zenix. We can do that for you. So our program is built to where we teach the knowledge, Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA, all the things, property, assets, income, liabilities, credit, etc., everything. So that, by the way, so we teach all the knowledge. We teach the skills of how to communicate, deal structuring. What do I do with this client? How do I talk to them over the phone? How do I engage referral sources? The third is the disciplines. And what do you need to do every day? What do I do in the market? What do I do with my business? How do I manage my customers, etc.? So the reason people shy away from it is because they've never had a tool or a process, but that's the beauty of why we built Zenix 19 years ago, is really to give an advantage to what I call the small guys that can't go build a training department, can't build the processes. But we had done that. So we built the Zenix specifically, very specifically for brokers and small shops who want to grow exponentially, but can't afford or don't have the prowess to do it. So I prefer rookies. Now, I would never pass up an experienced LO who's got a good volume, but I'm going to be more worried about the cultural fit with that guy, right? Because he might bring, but he could be a disruptor, high maintenance, because he comes in with a whole different mindset, how he wants to do it and how he's going to do it your way or his way. So I would go after both personally, but I love rookies. And especially right now, the industry is being really good to rookies. And we're a barometer of the industry right now. We can sort of tell you, people are hiring rookies at 3 times the rate of what they were doing a year ago.
Interesting.
So I would say that your peers are hiring rookies at an exponential rate.
That's wow. And obviously, no matter what, if they're a rookie, a mid-level, or a complete veteran, within reason, Zenix can help them out.
Right. And you can hire them for culture fit. Like, hey, I've got a great guy. I think he's going to be an amazing in our culture, and he's going to do it the way I share with him is the way to do it. And Zenix is just an extension of you guys. So appreciate all the comments that are coming in about us being a great program. The reality is we're you. When you actually send us someone, we take it very seriously that we're an extension of you. And our program, by the way, I think the brokers will all appreciate this because you guys are busy, is during the program, we're going to hold them accountable for you. So we don't just take them through the program and pay a fee, get a degree, and hope they get it. When they engage with us, they have a full-time instructor dedicated for questions, monitoring, making sure they're executing. And if they don't execute, they're out. And then you minimize your loss early. And that's how we built the program. Just like the military, we'll kick you out if you don't execute, you don't get it done. The good news is the students know that and they embrace it. And so this is probably the best year right now to hire rookies. Absolutely. In all the years, and even by the way, when the market shifts and rates go back up and market might soften up a little bit, there's never, ever, Mark, a bad time to hire a good salesperson. Ever.
I agree with that. The good salespeople always find a way at all times. They get creative. If they have to work more, whatever the case is, they always get creative. The good salespeople, and I know some of them not even in our industry, but they always thrive.
Absolutely. Hey, one of the things I was going to share with you that I thought would be important. If your brokers decide, hey, I want to do rookies, There's three things they need to make sure they understand. The formula for success of a rookie. Now, I said the three things you need to train them: knowledge, skills, and discipline. This is the three things they need to really make sure they understand.
Okay.
The formula for success on rookies, whether, by the way, the rookie is a processor, whether it's an LOA, or whether it's a loan officer, or if they even are doing consumer direct. Whatever, you don't miss these three. Number one is source them exceptionally well. So what I mean by sourcing is that's making sure you assess them, you ask the right questions. If in doubt, don't hire them. Just remember that, everybody. Your gut always tells you, don't be desperate for a great hire, but if in doubt, don't. So it's source them well, train them well. We'll train them to three things, and assimilate them well, which means if you get the right person and we train them, then you've got to help assimilate them. So what do we don't train? We don't train your technology stack, right? Because we don't know what you have. So you have to assimilate them, because if you forget that part, if you go, oh, Zenix trained them, I'll just move on, you'll lose. We'll train them. You got to help us get them as fast as possible on your technology stack, on what your processes are specific to your organization, whether they're going to be a processor or a loan officer. But if you realize, we have a guide too, by the way, Mark, that tells them how to assimilate them. So it's not like you're going to do this in the dark. Like, we train them, and we're going to help you assimilate them their first 30 days of origination, because the knowledge part's 3 weeks, the skills part's 2 weeks, and you're going to start taking apps in the middle of that. The third part is 4 weeks, and we hold them accountable daily. Now, that's an important factor for everybody, because you don't want your new guys that you've just invested in to have bad habits. And we're watching to make sure they do the three things they have to do every single day. And if they don't do it, we call you. We call them first, of course, and go, hey, your kid in the hospital, because we were going to make an assumption that you're a good person who might have just had an emergency. We don't go with the assumption of the bad guys like you're a slacker. We go in with a real positive, because our goal is to build them up, not beat them up. And my team is very equipped at building them up to perform. So, and then we were at the end of this, our goal, by the way, their first 30 days in the market is they have 4 applications. That's the goal. We're tracking right now some crazy numbers, 10 applications out of rookies. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
And so the thing they can know is that we're really an extension of you. We're your partner to help them and get them into the market. The payoff is unbelievable, right? How many loans does it really take to break even on a great rookie? Not many at all. So.
Right. No, I love everything you're saying here, because it's like taking all of the worries that us brokers have had of trying to grow and wasting, quote unquote, we always thought we were wasting time. You know what I mean? And the fact that, one, you hold them accountable, I think is absolutely huge. But then number two, listen, if they can't meet this accountability, well, then cut your losses. You're done. And we didn't lose anything. Yeah, we may have lost a few bucks, but then you go right back to the point of, to break even on a rookie, it's really not that much.
No, and here's put every manager that's listening in right now, everybody evaluate, what are you worth? What is your time worth? And the last thing you want to do is invest in somebody that, if they're a drain on Zenix and we call you and go, you got a problem, or they are not executing, cut your losses quickly so you're not losing your valuable time investing. And 6 months from now, they don't work. So, but listen, we have all kinds of business tools we can help you on the sourcing piece. You got to, by the way, I'm happy to answer. How do you find these guys? I can give you very quick 3 best places to find them. Everybody, I don't know if that's
go. No,
okay.
This is important. This is what people want to hear.
Right. So if I'm you right now going, man, I want rookies because I want to build my business, I'd be number 1, easy, low hanging fruit, your database. Think about that right now. They all did a loan with you. They know what a broker does. And so when you say, I'm looking for new talent in the market and I will train you, by the way, never say I'm looking for new people to come in straight commission, and don't add the word, I'll train you. We found that when we added formal training program, people immediately jumped in, because we used to do it when I'm talking about some learnings over my long time in this industry. So the first one is your database. Okay. That's an easy one. The second one are your referral sources. Now I want you to think about that for a moment. They have kids, they have friends of friends, they know people. And if they know you'll train them, you win. The third is, without a doubt, and the easy one, is all the vendors that support you. And so and you can go friends and family as number 4, but I would send an email out immediately to the database. I am looking actively hiring to my team. I have a full training program. In the market as a valued customer. I know the value of my service, and you won't refer me someone that is not outstanding. And if it's you personally, reach out to me and apply, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the position. Now, you notice I didn't say I'm hiring for sales or I'm hiring for ops. I just said I'm hiring. Why? I'm going to look at that skill set from that person to see where I might want to put them on my team. So that's just a quick thought. Easy, low-hanging fruit to that database.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make sure our staff makes bullet points of this stuff, because this is great stuff, Casey. I thank you so much for this. All right, so let's hop to this. So some people don't want just because of their beliefs, their philosophy, their business, their many different reasons, don't necessarily want new loan officers underneath them. Okay, but they feel that they could produce more. And the big acronym being thrown around is the LOA, loan officer assistant.
Yep.
Some are processors, however you want to say it. I kind of interchange it too, depending on their job description. But what are you looking for in an LOA? When should someone hire an LOA, and what's training look like for them?
Well,
a lot of questions. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I had a question one time that says, if you don't have an assistant, you are one, right? Yeah. Now let that sit in for a minute and go, I don't have an assistant, so I must be one. And I made a decision very early in my career, and I don't know if everybody's in this place, but I'll share that I was like, man, I don't want to be an assistant. I need one, so that I'm not copying, I'm not sending out, I'm not calling people. So I hired an LOA with no volume one time. I had moved into a new company. I was like, all right, I formalized the job description first, though. I leveraged somebody else's assistant, and that's not what I want them to do. I knew exactly what I wanted them to do. So an LOA, in my opinion, there's multiple versions of them, right? And everybody says, what kind of training should they get? And I go, well, it depends on what their job description is, because they may just be technically a junior LO. They technically could be just a junior processor, another who's going through the docs and helping to do some of the work that the processor needs to do. So the training will depend on what kind. I personally believe great LOs, they all have an LOA of some sort, no matter what they call it. And I do believe everybody always says, when's the right time? This is a question I get all the time. This is the question. How many units should I do before I get an LOA? I go, that's the wrong question.
Great. Okay.
So to me, it's the wrong question. The question should be, am I ready to lead another human being? Because see, the leverage of that person, how good they are, will determine how much your volume does. So I'd encourage everybody, and maybe I can come on another time and I can tell you everything you need in a job description and what an LOA should be doing, in my opinion.
We might be doing a part 2, part 3, part 4 on this, because this is.
So when you think about an LOA today, every LOA in my mind is slightly different based on your strengths and weaknesses. If my strength is making it rain, the LOA does everything else. If my strength is the detailed work, I might need an LOA to just go after my database. Because see, there's specialties you can have with an LOA. What most brokers, and I'm going to tell you a miss that a lot of people have, because when I was a top performer, I had people come to me all the time going, how should I use my assistant? And I'm going to hire an assistant. I'm like, whoa, before you hire them, what are you going to have them do? And they go, I don't know. And I was like, okay. And then how are you going to measure that they're good? Okay. So you better have a number. So let me give everybody an example. If I'm doing 10 units a month, I'm going to use the number 10 just because it's easy to remember. If I'm doing 10 units a month and I hire an assistant, I only have 3 objectives with that assistant. It's either improve my quality of life, make more money, or give better customer service. Which one is it? So if it is make more money, define what that means and how much, and then we'll tell you whether or not you should actually hire an assistant. If it's a better quality of life, define what that means. I'm going to leave every day at 6, 7, 5. If it's better customer service, what's your current customer service rating? Right? I would encourage everybody here to know your net promoter score. If you do not know your net promoter score, you really don't know the outcome and the power of your business model right now. And if you don't know how to calculate it, we can teach all that later. But the net promoter score tells me whether or not you are different and better. Because the people that are listening in right now, I'm going to tell you this industry is changing at a rapid rate. and everything about your business model is at risk right now if you are not 100% into giving the finest customer service someone has ever experienced, because you'll get replaced overnight. And that's why you at the beginning is, where do you start, sales or ops? I'm all, you better have that ops buttoned up. So I'll put it in my context. I'm telling you, I have a great training program. I don't know if I said that, but I'll say that out loud. I have a great training program, but it really means nothing if I don't have good people to actually deliver it. So you start with your service, and I'm telling you, then business will come. Because every time someone does business with us, I am hoping, and I'm not watching everybody on here, but I'm hoping everybody's like, and everything she's saying is the real deal. Because if we say we're going to take care of you, we take care of you. If I falter, now I'm 19 years in business, so hopefully by now it's a small industry. I'm somewhat proven, because everybody be talking right now. Maybe I wouldn't be on this call. But I have to be incredibly paranoid, just like all your brokers that are listening in. Every single customer matters. Mark, I have been in class with students when I've met them, and they would high five each other about how they're taking advantage of people and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I would stop them in their tracks and go, the sustainable business, by the way, you'll always get caught if that's your mantra. Take care of the consumer and they'll take care of you. So yes. If you're passionate that experience is unique, you will not only have massive amount of customers, you'll have massive amount of recruits because they find out about you. And so I came from a company, we were number one in market share by 3 times the volume of number 2. That we had no competitor in Atlanta, Georgia, which, by the way, y'all probably heard my Georgia accent, but no competitor. Why? How in the world were we so successful? Oh man, we had a reputation. If you could put a loan in that company, nobody would touch it. I mean, it was just, it was going to close. Not only close early, close on time, because our processes were buttoned up. But we were also really particular about who we brought into the team. They couldn't compromise our business structure. So if you really take that consumer comes first, and then I'm going to back it up even further. And this might surprise all of you. No, maybe not. I'm going to make my team members first. See, if you really take care of your team members, the processor, underwriter, you really go through and go, every human being that works for me, I take care of, they will take care of your customers. So start at the center. And so our culture created this amazing service outcome. That was our priority, but we took care of the people that work for us. So I don't know. What was did I miss the question?
No, trust me.
I'm sorry.
Everything you're saying is gold. No, you're perfect. Don't worry about it. It's
all right.
But no, I mean, no, you got it. We kind of went on the LOA track. You know what I mean? I've heard production assistant, but no, go ahead.
I think everybody needs to create the job description, and I call them critical success factors. If I hire somebody, there's 3 things that I'm going to measure about them. What are those 3? I think I like the number 3 today, but anyway, this happened to be 3. But there's 3 things that I'm going to measure. And probably customer service, how much more business, depending on what kind of role they have. Response time, major important to me. Because, getting back to a client's great, but only if you get back to them fast.
Right.
So multiple metrics, depending on what they are going to do as well. So as to what their metrics would be.
Perfect. Now, I know we're running a little bit short on time, and I'm telling you, we're going to get you back on here somehow. I'm going to make it a point, because this is, just like I said, I'm awestruck right now with all this information, because this is great. But, kind of one of the last questions I want to ask you here, Casey, is, in this type of environment we're in right now, someone who really has never grown their business, or kind of a little scared to do whatever their excuse or reasoning is, what is the best piece of advice you can give them to help lead their new team in this current environment? So speaking to a manager leading a new team in this environment, and they're struggling? Well, I mean, just they've never done this before. Gotcha. What advice would you give them? We all have 24 hours in a day. How you use that 24 hours determines your success. Break your day up into the various responsibilities you have. I'll give you an example. I'm a leader. That's one responsibility. How do I lead every day? I'm
producing manager right now, right? I'm actually talking to you. If you think about that, what am I doing? So I would break your responsibilities as a leader. When you look at 24 hours, you're going to work 12, 8, whatever your number is, and say, what are the most important priorities I have? And by the way, your number one should be your team, taking care of your team. We have a program, Mark, for managers on how to own a market, how to be a leader, because most of them have evolved without possibly even any kind of direction, and they're just naturally great business people. But we give a little more context about how do you go after a market, how do you lead human beings, how do you coach for performance. So I would take your day, break it up, and prioritize what's most important, and do those first in the day, if at all possible. But that's my very quick answer. I know we're over time, but I want to give you that quick answer.
Trust me, people will be tuning into this. No, this is, Casey, I can't thank you enough for this. This is all great information, and I know you're a wealth of knowledge, and we're going to continue to tap into you so we can so we can expose this all to the brokers. I mean, it's really doable, and we don't have to take all of the burden on, especially with someone like Zenix with your help.
Sure. And hey, we're here for you as an extension of you. So leverage us the way you see fit. Andy Van Wagenen, amazing guy, is your sales executive that takes care of AIME. So he'll throw some numbers up. I'm sure they have all the contact information to answer any questions, because we can direct you to a program or not, depending on where you are in your business as to what makes sense for you. So I appreciate AIME, and I appreciate the partnership a lot, Mark. And we're looking forward to really helping the brokers grow and scale. That's the key to me, because wealth comes through scale, not through you doing the work.
Right. That's a great quote right there. It's a great quote. Yeah, I mean, and you guys have hit every nail on the head and have every angle covered, not just from a new loan officer, new LOA, but experience managing. This is phenomenal, and I highly suggest to my community out there, our community, which is, please check them out. I mean, they're just here to make us better, and invest in yourself. I mean, so Casey, thank you for everything that you've done today. And just like I said, I'm going to try to get you on another one of these somehow. Just do more of this stuff, because this everything you're giving us is gold right here. I appreciate you, and just want to thank everyone for joining us today on one of our special editions of AIME Live. And Casey, thank you, and everyone out there. 2021, I'm telling you, is going to be great. I believe it. I do not have a crystal ball, as me and Casey talked about earlier, but I just have this gut feeling that 2021 is going to be amazing. We have a lot of people telling us that, so take advantage of it. Thank you for joining us. And if there's anything our association or Casey can do, please reach out to us, and everyone have a great day.
Thank you so much, Mark. Take care, everybody.